Mutthead.com, welcome back. ZAN's Corner, episode 2 of Madden 18. Today we're going to build on last week's video, which is taking advantage of position-specific assignments. Now, the reason we're going to do that is we want to build on our knowledge of last week's video going forward to keep you at an advantage and keep building your Madden knowledge. Now, a lot of this is stuff you guys probably already know. However, if it's not, go back and watch the video from last week that breaks down the individual assignments that every player on the field has and the unique assignments that they can go into that some other players can't. So that video is going to help you with basically creating exotic defenses or potentially building defensive plays that you can't otherwise build or call at the play call menu. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a cover 4 shell, and the reason we're going to use a cover 4 shell, and I think we could build our defense around a cover 4, is because when we look at the run fits, and you look at the run fits to the left or right, you're going to see that both the safeties are involved. Now the reason that's important is with those safeties coming down, that's going to eliminate a lot of cutbacks. So if we were trying to run and then maybe cut it up inside, you're going to have the safeties coming down in the alley trying to fill those lanes, and you can use your outside linebackers to set the edge and bottle the run back inside to where those safeties are coming down to help. Now what we're also going to do here is we're going to explain a lot of the coverage stuff. So quarter flats are a zone that a lot of players actually take for granted. What's nice about quarter flats is they're going to essentially man up on the number 2 player in a formation. So in this example, the number 2 player would be Davante Adams on the left side, and the number 2 on the right side would be Ty Montgomery coming out of the backfield. So basically no matter what they're in, with the exception of maybe a drag, you're going to see a quarter flat match that route. So if Davante Adams were to go vertical, a quarter flat would defend that vertically down the field. And you can see right here he drops underneath of it, and he's going to try to trade off that vertical to the deep quarter zone behind him. If Davante Adams were to go shallow, so we'll show you, let me go ahead and take my cursor off this outside corner here. If Davante Adams were to go shallow to the flat or over the middle, you would see that quarter flat would match as well. We'll go ahead and show that here. This time when we snap the ball, rather than him playing him in the seam, he goes to the flat. So he's going to be able to take away basically the number 2 receiver going vertical or going out to the outside on an outbreaking route. However, where the quarter flat is not as efficient is going to be on drags, and you're going to see why right here. We're going to go ahead and snap the ball, and he's not going to match that. You can see that he's going to let that drag go under, and we're able to kind of take that route and dot it up for a pretty big gain. Now, what I like about this is that we have the ability to leave that quarter flat, so that way if they're running an out route or a corner pattern or basically a vertical, for instance, we're going to have the ability for that player in that zone to match it. Where it's not strong, however, is if, say, our number 2 receiver were to go vertical and our number 3 receiver were to go flat. So you can see right here, he's going to follow. We're able to dump that throw underneath. Just kind of a simple spacing type of route combination. So that is where your shading is going to come in handy. So in the event that the number 2 receiver is not the one you're worried about, that's maybe the number 3, you're going to really, if you want him in the flat, you're going to shade underneath. Now, if you're afraid of maybe the deep out route getting open, you're going to see that in this example, if we were to put him on a deep out route, the cloud flat is beneficial because he's going to sit right underneath that and be able to hopefully pick it off if he has a high enough catch rating. So there's a very big difference between a quarter flat, a hard flat, and a cloud flat that you're going to notice that you can get. However, if we were to take the same player and put him into a curl flat, you're going to notice a difference. So say that same 10-yard out route is coming. Notice that 10-yard out route is going to get open, because the purple zones do not get any width on the field, so they're not going to get out to the sideline and get up underneath that outbreaking route to the number 1 or number 2 receiver. So you're going to want to stick with a quarter flat, you're going to want to stick with a hard flat or a cloud flat, depending on what area of the field you want to cover with those little quarter flat pink zones in a cover 4. So adjust accordingly. Quarter flat, hard flat, or cloud flat only. You probably don't want to go with a purple zone, because that purple zone is just going to sit in the middle of the field. Now, what I really like about this is that we have the ability to kind of take our outside corners and do a number of things with them. Now, one of the things that we could do with the individual coverage assignments, so we're going to choose Ross Cockrell here, is we could put him into an outside third. We could put him into an outside quarter, which would put him into a deep 4th zone, which he's already in by default. We could put him into a hard flat, which would take away, obviously, the short outside area of the field. or we could put him into a soft squat. Now, the soft squat is something I want to touch on because what I love about a soft squat is I want to show you just a simple route combination here on this side of the ball. With a soft squat, this applies to 2 receivers only. With a soft squat zone, what happens is the outside player will play vertically on the number 1 receiver, Randall Cobb, all the way down the field, unless Davante Adams breaks to the outside. So that is where it's very important to remember that if they're running some sort of inside breaking route to the flat and a vertical on the outside, that is where a soft squat will jump to the flat, and that's why it's called a soft squat. It's going to play soft to the vertical and bait that out route from the slot and try to take that away. So I'm going to show you an example with the number 2 receiver, Davante Adams, running over the middle. You're going to notice that the soft squat zone should follow deep down the sideline, and that is what you see. He drops underneath of it, and then he's looking for somebody to cross underneath into his area and become the new number 2 receiver. So let's go ahead and audible into a new set, some sort of 2x2, and we're going to do the exact same thing with, or we'll just continue the motion. We're going to do the exact same thing here, and I'm going to put Cobb on a vertical route. Again, I'm going to put this player, Cockrell, into a soft squat. And you're just going to look for him to chase Cobb down the sideline, and then look for anybody coming to the flat as the new number 2 receiver, because Adams is going to break over the middle. He's no longer a threat as the number 2. Montgomery becomes the new number 2, and that's where you're going to see Cockrell kind of look at Montgomery. He's going to peek into that flat and try to take it away. So you can see how he's going to drift underneath that route, and then the rest of it's all taken care of. So the quarter flat soft squat combination is a very, very nice combination to use, because you see in this example that the quarter flat did not want to respect this route right here. He didn't respect Adams over the middle. He just let the hook zones take care of it. And then you have the soft squat staying vertical with this route. And then when a new number 2 receiver, Montgomery, breaks out of the backfield, you see the quarter flat jump it and match that route to the flat. So this is there's a number of things that you can do with this coverage to kind of build it into whatever you want. If you want to take away the outside receiver going vertical and number 2 going to the flat, obviously you could go with a soft squat quarter flat combination. If you want to take away the outside receiver going vertical and one of the inside receivers going to the flat, you could go with the quarter zone on the outside, that deep quarter zone, and then shade underneath to make a hard flat. It just kind of depends on what you want to do, but at the end of the day, you're going to be able to build your coverage the way that you want to build it while running a cover 4 to stop the run. Now, another thing that I like to do is I like to pack the box to really take away the run game. So we can go with 7 in the box. I'll walk those safeties down a little bit. And what I'll do with those safeties is I'm gonna walk them down super close to the line of scrimmage, almost baiting our opponent to go over the top. Now, if you remember in Madden 17, the outside corners, if you could create or call any type of cover 2 invert, those cover 2 invert, if you could put them into a deep half, which is the right stick to the right, it turns those outside zones into those inverted zones. And what's great about these is that they don't get beat deep off the line. So what I'm going to do is walk both these players down, and you're going to see right here that in this example, if we were to try to send those players vertically down the sideline, you're going to see that they really don't get beat over the top. And if I were to try to throw that up, he's in a good spot. Now, keep in mind, William Gay is slow. He is definitely slow. Let's go ahead and compare the ratings of William Gay to the receiver running the route against him. So William Gay is 88 speed, and that Packers receiver, Geronimo Allison, is 87. And in that example, that wasn't the best example because of the William Gay was actually faster than Allison. So what I'll do is I'll put in another receiver right here just to make this interesting for you guys. And you'll see that even a 92 speed plus 4 plus 5 speed isn't going to get by him from a pressed look. So we're going to put Trevor Davis in that new spot, and I will go ahead and snap the ball. I'm going to throw it away, and then the new receiver would be on the field, and you'll see that the exact same thing happens. So if we were to call some sort of cover 4 and bring those safeties down in the box to try to really take away that run with 9 in the box, we could take those outside corners, put them in deep halves so they go into a cover 2 invert. As you see right here, they're going to drop deep to the inside. And then if we were to put a fade out there, say to Davis, you're going to see that it's not going to get beat. you can see that William Gay is able to recover, and he even stays on top of that route for some reason. So these inverted cover 2 zones are a great thing from Madden 17 to bring forth into Madden 18 as an adjustment. So we've shown you that the ability to adjust and shade is great. The ability to manipulate your outside corners into soft squats to bait the flat or into deep halves when you really want to get physical at the line of scrimmage and leave those corners on the outside with deep responsibility. For some reason, those guys don't get deep, or get beat deep. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Hopefully it gets those wheels turning in your mind. This isn't something you have to apply just to cover 4. You could dial up some sort of cover 3 pressure. So if I were to, maybe call cover 3, say I really want to dial it up, right? I want to bring the pressure off this side. Maybe we're getting super aggressive. Maybe we just go ahead and say, okay, fine. These guys on the outside, they're going to take away the deep halves. They're going to drop. And then we'll use our, some sort of shade underneath. And we're just going to really try to lurk the middle of the field. And if we get beat deep on the outside, then it really has to be somebody really fast, because what you're going to see here is on the outside, those guys just don't get torched. We try to throw that ball up, and they're able to kind of recover on it for the most part. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. On that last example, you don't want to use somebody slow on the outside, obviously. 90 speed, you'll be fine with those inverted zones. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, let me know in the chat. If you guys have any suggestions on combinations you like to use, let me know there below. And until next week, this is ZAN. Get in the lab, and good luck.